Hello, hope you're having a great day so far. Today I'm going to be doing a video where I just talk about my interests, because there was actually a request for a new video like that, so I'm going to be talking about some TV shows, games, and, well, a book and stuff like that. Just talking about interests and hobbies. Things I enjoy watching, gaming, or reading, stuff like that. And maybe I'll do a few recommendations for you guys watching this, but remember this. When you choose to watch any film, TV show, or choose to play any game, remember you have to find out for yourself if it is your thing or not, because sometimes when other people recommend things to us, it isn't always that is our thing. So if you, for example, try any TV show, just watch like the first episode, and then if you feel like, okay, this wasn't my TV show, then just don't watch the rest of it, I guess. You know, I think that we often find out whether this is our thing or not during the first two episodes of a TV series. And with a game, just play the opening sequence, maybe. And with a book, just read the first few chapters. You know, you quickly find out if this is something which appeals to you or not. But anyway, hope you're having a great day so far. Hope it's been a great week. You know, we're approaching the weekend, so that's great. And, well, yeah. I guess I'll just begin. Yeah. So here is what turned out to be a big surprise for me, Hogwarts Legacy. I have played this for a few months now, and the reason I say it's a big surprise is because before I started playing it, I was not certain if this was going to be my type of game. Yes, I love Harry Potter, I love the Wizarding World. But, you know, I was afraid this was going to be some sort of commercial crap. It wasn't. It turned out it had a lot of soul, and it was great, and that was a great surprise to me. Because before I started playing it, I just wasn't certain if I was going to like this. I love RPGs and stuff like that, but yeah, you know. Well, Hogwarts Legacy is set within the Wizarding World of the Harry Potter universe, but it is set a century before the story of Harry Potter. It is set in the early 1890s, and it tells its own story, and it's a very enjoyable RPG where you get to explore Hogwarts and the world around Hogwarts, villages and the highlands surrounding Hogwarts. So it's a very enjoyable RPG. You get to go questing, you get to have a few friends, you get to choose your house, like whether you want to be a Hufflepuff, a Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, or Slytherin. So if you love Harry Potter and you love role-playing games, I recommend this. I realize if some people may be a little skeptic. I was actually, before I started playing it, I was a little uncertain if this was going to be enjoyable or not, but when I started playing it, and to be honest, the game just grew on me, and now I think it's a really fun and great game. It's been really fun playing. I'm starting to approach the end of the game now. I've done a lot of exploration. I only have like a few quests, side quests and main quests left, I believe, and I have some more exploration I can do, but I've done a lot so far. But of course there is a lot to do in this game, so yeah. So if you love Harry Potter, magic, fantasy, role-playing, I recommend trying this game. It's really fun, really fun. Okay, I think we'll move on to the next. Yeah. Divergent. So that's the next thing I'm going to recommend. So Divergent is for you people who love science fiction and dystopia, those two genres specifically. So, for example, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the Hunger Games. Well, if you like the Hunger Games, you may like Divergent too. It is set in the sharpshooter in a dystopic Chicago, divided into 5 factions. And when the people of the society are teens, they have to, well, they're sorted into one of the 5 factions, actually. So, well, I'm not going to spoil the story itself, but it's a very enjoyable dystopic plot. It's a trilogy, so this is the first book. The sequels are Insurgent and Allegiant. And the main character is called for Beatrice Trisprir. So yeah, you know, it has all the things of a dystopian plot, like, you know, a sort of evil authority and regime, which is sort of represented by one of the 5 factions, or rather the leader of one of the 5 factions. And of course lots of lies and deceit, which is discovered during the course of the trilogy, you know, all the typical dystopian stuff. And of course it turns out that this faction system has been formed because of a major war in the past. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil more of the story or the plot, the setting. Just know it's enjoyable. And if you really like the books, you can of course dare to watch the movies as well. There are 3 movies: Divergent, Insurgent and Allegiant Part 1. It should be pointed out here that Allegiant Part 2 was cancelled because Allegiant Part 1 did not perform well at the box office, I believe, or in reception, so there was never a Part 2. I believe the books are far better than the movies, but if you really, really love the books and you just want more Divergent stuff, you can watch the movies as well. Anyway, so yeah. So for those of you who love dystopian plots, sharpshooter science fiction plots, well, try Divergent. It's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. And it's very full of action, especially the second book, and yeah, it's just interesting and fun, really. Next up, we have a more paranormal type of thing, a TV series called for Manifest. This is a series consisting of 4 seasons and I think it's about 52 or so episodes. And it's really, really enjoyable. It's a paranormal mystery, which ran on Netflix just I think the final season came out last year, so it's very recent. So I'm going to turn this is the first season, as you can see. I'm going to turn it now. So here it says, in 2013 Flight 828 disappeared. 5 years later it came home. So this is a show in which these are the passengers of Flight 828, and in 2013 they boarded a plane, and when they landed it was suddenly 5 years later, and it turned out the plane had been missing for 5 years, and neither the public nor the passengers knew what had happened, and of course because of that they became a sensation. Because how could they have been gone for 5 years, and what had happened to them during these 5 years? Even the passengers don't know. So it's a really fun concept, and it's 4 seasons exploring this really strange and almost a little creepy paranormal concept, which is made even creepier by the fact that the passengers actually start hearing mysterious voices shortly after landing, guiding them to do things and solve things and help people. And during the course of the story, some of the passengers are very, very uncertain whether the voices are good or not. So it's a really fun paranormal kind of story. So yeah, and there is a lot of developments during the seasons. So if you like that kind of thing, I advise watching Manifest. Anyway, before I move on to the next, I'm also going to make another recommendation. I have never watched this show, but one of my followers or subscribers recommended a show called The Supernatural. I believe it's a show dealing with supernatural forces and paranormal phenomena, like creatures and ghosts and stuff like that. And I believe this show has some horror aspects as well, from what I read when I googled it. But I'm going to recommend, even though I haven't watched it, I'm just going to sort of name that show as well, because I figured that for people who like paranormal stuff, that show may appeal to them. So I cannot make any personal reference to this show because I haven't watched it, at least not yet. But if you like supernatural stuff, check out Supernatural as well. See if it's your thing or not. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next thing I'm going to show you. So, for those of you who game, maybe you will recognize this. This is Mass Effect. Yeah, this is Mass Effect 2, more specifically the Collector's Edition, because I have the Collector's Edition of Mass Effect 2. I'm a big Mass Effect fan, you see. So, Mass Effect is set in the 4th shooter. It is set in the 2180s, when humanity has joined Galactic Society, and humanity knows of the existence of extraterrestrials and aliens and stuff like that. Because in the 2150s, humanity joined the Galactic Society. So this follows the story of Commander Shepard, who uncovers a very special plot, which is about to happen to the galactic community. I'm not going to spoil that, but it is set in the 4th shooter. It is full-scale science fiction, and it is the company BioWare's, the gaming company's BioWare's own take on sort of the 4th shooter and science fiction stuff. It's sort of like an alternative to Star Wars, but it's somewhat different from Star Wars because it builds more on scientific concepts and stuff like that. I know Star Wars also partially built on scientific concepts, but this Mass Effect builds on it to a much greater degree. So yeah, Mass Effect has become a very popular gaming franchise, and it consists of 4 games. First, it is the Shepard trilogy. The 3 games where you follow Commander Shepard, which you can see on the cover here. This is the male version. You can choose to play a female Commander Shepard too, if you wish. It's a role-playing game, so you have a few choices. The first 3 games follows Commander Shepard in the 2180s as he uncovers a massive plot which is about to happen to the galactic community. The games are very epic, and you get to visit a lot of worlds and stuff. In the 3rd game you even shortly visit Earth, but more interestingly you visit a lot of worlds of the galactic civilization. It's a RPG shooter, action RPG shooter, so if you like shooter type of games where you shoot, sorry if my pronunciation were a little off now, this may be for you. So yeah, you also meet a lot of other alien species here, and some of those alien species becomes your companions during your adventures. Yeah, and you also get to explore the Citadel Station, which is the hub of the galactic community. So if you like science fiction and you like action RPGs, I advise trying this. The 4th game is set many centuries later, and it is set in the Andromeda Galaxy, and it's a somewhat different game than the 3 others because it's an open world game The fourth game wasn't as well received as the first three games, but if you love Mass Effect and you want more Mass Effect, I'd still advise trying Andromeda too. It is set in the, I believe it's either the 2710s or the 2810s, I'm a little uncertain. And it's set in the Andromeda galaxy. And it's open world. So the planets, there's a lot more to explore on the planets in Andromeda. There is a new Mass Effect game in development, but the gaming company has said that this will be more like the three original games. We're going to learn from their mistakes with Andromeda. At least that's what they claim, so we'll see. But anyway, for you science fiction enthusiasts out there and role-playing enthusiasts, this is a game I'd recommend. Yeah. Okay, so I have a few final recommendations to make before we're done. I don't have the DVD covers or stuff for these because I watch them on Disney Plus and iTunes. So the first thing I'm going to say is the coming recommendations are for you people who love time travel and parallel timeline stuff, which I actually happen to do. So first of all, the Back to the Future movies from the 1980s. If you love time travel things, I heavily advise, if you haven't already, watching these. The Back to the Future movies were made in the 1980s. It's 3 movies, it's a trilogy. And we're all set to, at the beginning we're set to 1985, but it's time travel movies, so we're set to different areas, of course. In the first movie, I'm not going to spoil the details, but in the first movie the character travels back to the 1950s, and then he travels sort of into the future later, and then witnesses an alternate timeline, and then there's the Wild West, which is also visited. So it's really time travel complications. The plot of Back to the Future does not take itself too seriously. It has a comedical tone and a light-hearted tone, but it actually does in the second movie deal with a dark alternate timeline very shortly there. So, but it's always a very fun movies to watch, especially if you like time travel, timelines and time travel complications. If that's your thing, I advise watching this. And if you do, and you feel like I want more time travel and timelines complications, I'd advise watching the mini-series known as Parallels on Disney+. This show was developed a few years ago. It's a mini-series of 6 episodes. I don't believe there is any season 2 in development, or I don't think there are any plans for a season 2 right now, so it's just a mini-series of 6 episodes, for the moment at least, and maybe that's how it will stay. So this is set to 2021 originally. It deals with 4 teenagers in a French town on the French-Swiss border, I believe. So in a French mountainous town, and these 4 friends were just having a birthday party in a bunker, and then things go really amiss because the 4 friends are sent into parallel timelines, so there's lots of complications and stuff. And the show is about the 4 friends and the people around them trying to get things back to normal. So if you want more more parallel timelines complications and time travel complications, I advise watching this show. It takes itself a little more seriously than Back to the Future, but if you love timelines and time travel, it's an enjoyable show to watch. Of course, you have to try it out for yourself to see if you like it or not. Anyway. So yeah. Well, and although I haven't watched this show, if you still want more time travel sorry, more multiverse and timelines complications. If I'm not entirely mistaken, Stranger Things is a show you probably should watch. It's a show I'm considering to watch. I haven't watched it yet, but I know that if you like multiverse stuff and craziness, and I know what it's often said that if you enjoyed Parallels, you're very likely to enjoy Stranger Things as well. Stranger Things is a darker show. It has horror aspects, I believe, but it deals with the multiverse and timelines, if I'm not entirely mistaken. And I believe it also deals with that kind of paranormal stuff. So if you want more things than just Back to the Future and Parallels, I'd recommend Stranger Things, even though I haven't watched it yet. I often don't watch a lot of things with horror aspects, but I did, after all, watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which had a few horror aspects. So I may brave the show later and try Stranger Things. We'll see. It's probably not going to happen in the immediate shooter, but that's something I plan to get around to eventually. So, well, that's my recommendations for you people who enjoy multiverse and parallel timelines and time travel complications. Stuff like that. For those of you who want to just have something fun to watch in relation to that. Of course, you have to try these things out for yourself if you want to see if there are things, but now I've made a few different recommendations today. I made fantasy recommendations, science fiction recommendations, paranormal recommendations, and time travel timelines recommendations, so yeah. But there is of course a lot of more shows and options within these genres than what I presented today. If you want more options, I'd advise you to just Google them on your iPhone, like just Google time travel shows or multiverse shows, and you'll get a lot of options. Much more than I told you here today. So, yeah. Well, I hope you just enjoyed me talking about shows and stuff I had read, gamed, or watched, and well, maybe I gave some people ideas, I don't know. You'll have to check it out for yourself to see if it's your thing, if I did. But you know what, I've talked a lot now. Wish you all the best, hope you enjoy it, and have a great week.